But Stephen is saying that there, and I have the link in front of me. There is an asylum process. I think you've agreed there's a process, but that it's not followed. So let's just get to the bottom of that. Is it being followed, and to what extent? I mean, Luke, why don't you think that the asylum process is not being followed?
I mean, honestly, the biggest thing is because it's common sense. We wouldn't have these millions of individuals. Why is it that out of all the years that we have allowed for asylum seekers in this country, why are we having, it's not even like our numbers are up a little bit. We're up tenfold, a hundredfold. They're up to an insane amount of people that are quote unquote seeking asylum. And then if you look at the statistics of people that are seeking asylum or that claim they are, and then those that are actually following through with the process, vast majority of them are not following through with the process. So if
But
they were seeking asylum, they would be wanting to push for this process to go through. They would be taking all the steps that they need to take, but they're not.
I want to try to summarize a couple of your points, ask a question, and then we can move on to the next topic. So I'm going to really dumb down, in summary, this conversation, which is that Stephen, you're saying, hey, Congress tried to pass a bill which would not fix the situation on the border, but it would improve it. And Luke, you're saying that's nonsense. The bill sucks, and part of the reason that's nonsense is because if you care at all about fixing the problem, you have to secure the border. Otherwise, any kind of trying to fix it beyond that, it's not going to do anything. To which Stephen is saying, I think what Stephen's saying is basically, look, if we have a bill on the table to improve asylum, even if it improves it by 3%, like why the hell wouldn't we? We know asylum's a problem, whether it's being followed or not being followed. Like we know we got to improve it. So why not just take whatever Congress gives you and just say, okay, this is a good start, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would just ask, why did they wait 3.5 years
Because they
to?
suck. Because they suck. But I'm saying once they got it out, like why not just take it?
But I mean, I can make the same argument with HR2. Why shouldn't we have just taken that? HR2 had um, areas in that bill that helped with asylum, but it also had areas that would help with the actual illegal immigration that's going on. The Senate bill was more concerned with giving another $60 billion to the Ukraine. And then they tried to separate it from the bill and create a whole separate bill, but it still didn't do it. It was a poorly written bill.
I don't know about
And there's
HR2. Steven, do you know about this?
It was once they realized that Daddy Trump wanted them to not vote on the bill, on the bipartisan bill that was authored by a Republican that was going to be like supported by both sides. They had an alternative bill called HR2, which was insanely more radical. And the reason why they supported this is because this bill was dead on arrival. Like there was no shot it was ever passing anything. There was no bipartisan negotiation on this. It was just an unhinged, insane bill.
why was it
But they knew they could suggest that. They knew that they could suggest that because nobody would ever agree with it, and then they can have people, I guess, like Luke say, oh well, look, they had another bill, but that bill was never going to, that bill was never going to pass.
Like Luke, if I'm the captain of a ship and then the ship hits an iceberg and there's a hole in the ship and water's pouring out of it and I need 8 tons of wood to patch the hole, and someone says I don't have 8 tons of wood, but here's 1 ton of wood. I would take that 1 ton, I'd start patching that hole, and I'd pray to God that we get the 7 tons later on. I feel like
but we
trying to
had
patch.
but we had 4 tons with the HR2 bill a year before. And my whole thing is the Democrats like to come out and say Trump shut it down because he wanted to save it for his big moment once he wins the election.
Wait, the
But,
Republicans said that, to be clear. That's what the
but
Republicans say.
I can say the same argument where Democrats had 3.5 years and they decided until election year to try to push this bill, which there was 5 Democrats that voted against the bill. So people
What does that have to do
talk
with
about,
anything? Who cares? It was going to pass regardless.
people talk about, oh, well, we had a few Republicans that voted for it. Okay, we also had 5 Democrats that voted against the bill. It was a poorly written bill if you look at it. I understand what you're getting at, Jake, with, maybe it could have helped in some areas, but we had a bill that was proposed a year before that would have helped in 10
Maybe.
times more
Yeah.
areas.